Welcome to the richest town in the world. This town has the highest home prices of anywhere on Earth. The least expensive house that's currently for sale is listed at $6.5 million. This is... Actually, hold on. Let's play a game. It's called Guess What the Richest Town in the World is. I'm gonna list a few of the richest zip codes in the world and you can guess what's number one. Is it Lower Manhattan? Specifically the 10013 zip code that includes much of Tribeca, Soho, and the Ghostbusters headquarters? Is it Beverly Hills 90210? Home to Rodeo Drive, the Hollywood elite, and the site of the Manson murders? Is it Atherton, California? Someplace you've probably never heard of. In the middle of Silicon Valley that actually fights against public transit projects because no one there does anything that isn't private. Is it Sagaponack, New York? Another place you've never heard of that happens to be the most wealthy place in the Hamptons and is home to this guy? Is it Fisher Island, Florida, which was once privately owned by the Vanderbilts, is accessible only by private boat, helicopter, or ferry from Miami Beach, and has only one school, which is obviously private? Is it an international destination like Tokyo, London, Dubai, Paris, or Monaco? Need a hint? Here's a list of the biggest companies in the world. A bunch of those companies have headquarters all in the same area. Others have major offices nearby. And this is Atherton. Yep, that's right. This is Atherton, California. It's the richest town in the world, and it's not even close. Here's the list from the New York Times. Atherton is known for what's illegal on these streets, but completely common everywhere else. It's known for who's definitely not living in these houses, and the famous residents who are, like this guy, this lady, and this guy. You see, I live in Oakland, California, which is only about 20 miles away from Atherton as the crow flies, but in reality, these two places couldn't be further apart. In Atherton, they do this. Here in Oakland, we do this. In Atherton, this. Oakland, this. It seems like every single house in Atherton has a swimming pool and a tennis court. Who likes tennis that much? Just last week, a shoplifter shot a security guard at this 7-Eleven. We are just a couple blocks away from my apartment. The shoplifter got away with $6 worth of candy, and the security guard is dead. So I guess I'm a little curious to see what it's like in some other Bay Area neighborhoods. It's not like I can afford to live in the richest town in America, but I can visit for the day and see what this place has that makes it so special, and what it doesn't have that makes it so controversial. Notice anything missing here or here? There's a few things, but you're probably not thinking of the one that put this place on the map. But let's go have a look around. Downtown Atherton has a police station, city hall, and a pristine library with spotless public restrooms that make it pretty clear you're not in Oakland. They've also got statues like this, and this. The train comes through, but you can't get on. We'll talk about that in a sec. This is the public bathroom in the park, and while it is lovely, it has some very nice touches, but no paper towels. The commuter train comes through, but it no longer stops here, and that's because of low ridership. Before it shut down, the station was seeing just 114 riders a day on average. Compare that to over 4,000 in Redwood City and 1,700 in Menlo Park, the stations immediately north and south of Atherton. Not a lot of Atherton residents take any form of public transit. Atherton has essentially no history. It started as a place for wealthy people to get away from San Francisco, and that is still true today. They incorporated in 1923 only to keep Menlo Park from taking control. That's allowed them to keep the town almost entirely residential. Their latest letter from the city manager refers to multifamily housing, what you and I might call apartments, townhouses, or condos, as affordable housing. And they certainly don't have any of that here. In fact, it's against the law. We'll talk about that in a bit. There are only a few businesses in town, and we are on our way there now. Mademoiselle Colette sells croissants for over $5. That is expensive, but before you judge, there are two things to consider. One, they're absolutely delicious. Everything here is perfect. And two, the median list price of a house in Atherton is just under $8 million. So you could buy a house, or you could buy about 1.5 million croissants. Let's double click on that, shall we? Assume they make 10% profit margins. They'd have to sell roughly 15 million croissants to make enough profit for a house. One of Atherton's famous residents is Steph Curry, and someone recently broke into his house. You know Steph. He's the guy that led the Warriors to 4 NBA championships while changing the way basketball is played in the NBA. Turns out, the guy that broke into his house just wanted an autograph. So while I support keeping people like that out, I don't support this. Have you noticed anything wrong with this image yet? It's not what you do see, but what you don't. There are no sidewalks. They're actually illegal in Atherton. When town officials are asked about this, they usually give some wishy-washy answer about preserving the roadways as scenic routes, but the message is clear. If you don't live here, stay out. I actually did find some sidewalks back here by the library, but even by schools, there are no sidewalks. Which leads me to bicycles, what I'm riding right now. Somehow Atherton has made riding bicycles illegal. Unless, of course, they're registered with the police. If you look at Atherton's website, they claim this is a state code, which I actually thought was true, but their link to the state code is a blank page. One of Atherton's more controversial residents is Mark Andreessen. Now, there's a lot to love about Mark. He helped found Netscape. They built an internet browser that worked, but then Internet Explorer came along. Today, he runs the venture capital firm Andreessen Horowitz, but it's not just any venture capital firm. If you're not familiar with VCs, they take money from really rich people and then invest that money in startups in the hope that they one day become Apple or Google and make everyone rich. They use a 2 and 20 investment scheme that basically guarantees that the VCs themselves get super rich while not promising a whole lot to their investors. What makes Mark different is he's really good at this. His investments include Airbnb, Pinterest, Coinbase, Facebook, Instacart, Instagram, Lyft, you get the idea. He's also a fervent supporter of building more housing, which he passionately argued for in his 2020 manifesto, It's Time to Build. But Mark recently found himself in a bit of hot water after fervently opposing affordable housing in Atherton. In what's been called the NIMBY case of the decade, Mark and his wife submitted comments saying they are immensely against building public housing here in Atherton. Mark said they will massively decrease our home values, the quality of life of ourselves and our neighbors, and immensely increase the noise pollution and traffic. Which isn't wrong. But if Atherton's billionaires are so concerned about making it nearly impossible for regular people to move in and take the jobs of the future, then maybe they should be more willing to make some sacrifices. As someone who has worked in tech, Mark is on the one hand a hero, but on the other hand, he's a fitting representative of the Atherton ethos.
So many of the houses in Atherton have fences and gates. So even if I want to invade their privacy, I really can't film the most impressive mansions.
It is just lovely, though. Frankly, I'm starting to feel a bit guilty because everybody here has been super nice to me.
I'm also feeling a bit out of place, so I'm gonna visit the circus club. Wait, this is not a circus. Maybe the farm is more welcoming? Nope.
And while it does feel kind of good to make fun of people with a lot of money, that's certainly not going to get us where they are. So maybe if we stop complaining about the people in Atherton, one day we'll live here too. But if you're like me, Atherton just isn't that cool. So if you really want to have fun in the Bay Area, check out these videos of things you can actually afford, and hit subscribe if you want to see more. Thanks for watching.